Hey everyone, today we're talking more about the Roman governor, Pilate. After Pilate said this, he returned to the Jewish leaders and said, "I find no grounds for any charge against him. You have a custom that I release one of the prisoners for you at Passover. Do you want me to release for you the king of the Jews?" They shouted, "Not this man, give us Barabbas." Now, Barabbas was an insurrectionist. Then Pilate had Jesus taken and whipped. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and dressed him in a purple robe. Over and over they went up to him and said, "Greetings, King of the Jews!" And they slapped him on the face. Pilate came out of the palace again and said to the Jewish leaders, "Look, I'm bringing him out to you to let you know that I find no grounds for a charge against him." When Jesus came out wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, Pilate said to them, "Here's the man." When the chief priests and their deputies saw him, they shouted, "Crucify, crucify." Pilate told them, "You take him and crucify him. I don't find grounds for a charge against him." The Jewish leaders replied, "We have a law, and according to the law, he ought to die because he made himself out to be God's son." Now, as you hear this story, I think it's really important to say that Pilate is not a sympathetic character. Leaders like him don't really deserve much pity. They're actually pitiful. I mean, history itself, either other places in the gospel attest to Pilate's brutality and injustice. He's not really trying to defend or save Jesus, and he's the one with the power to do so, if that's what he really wanted. Some of the reasons that Pilate gets a break are because of anti-Semitic reasons, readings of these passages that want to put all of the blame on all Jewish people forever. Now, the religious leaders here do deserve plenty of blame, but we're going to talk about that on Thursday. I don't know, I think it's just that recent years have made me kind of tired of Christians defending terrible political leaders when the fruit of their actions is clearly unchristlike. You know, the mocking of Jesus, the abuse he experienced here, that happens under Pilate's authority. He decides to let that happen. Now, part of what's going on here in John's gospel is there's this dramatic irony, right? That he's wearing this robe, he has a crown. They're making fun of him for being a king. We and John know that Jesus truly is that, and what those titles, what those items signify. But Pilate, he doesn't care. He just wants to wash his hands of this whole thing. I mean, literally that's what he does in Matthew's gospel. But saying, "I don't take any responsibility at all," when you're the person responsible, that doesn't let you off the hook. If you know what is right, if you know what is just, and you have the power to do right by another person, what do you think is expected of you? Jesus here stands with the powerless. We know that he is not actually powerless, but that's where he chooses to be. And sometimes that's who we are, and it's comforting to know Jesus is in that place with us. But sometimes we aren't powerless, and there are things that we can do. So, when we have the power to help, are we going to be Pilate, or are we going to be better?